In this session, I want to resolve a mystery. How is it that two people can be in love and stand in front of a church and swear to God and to each other they're going to stay in love forever, right? And then 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, they literally hate each other. I mean, hate each other more than any other individual on the planet, and suddenly love's become a battlefield. They're at war with the one person they used to love so much they thought it was a good idea to commit their life to them. Now, how does that happen? I know we see it all the time, but have you ever stopped to think about what's really taking place? The secret to staying in love, happy together forever, is to treat each other as if the other person is the most important person in the room. Sounds simple, huh? And it would be if two people in a marriage both came into the relationship with fully healthy hearts, and if you had all these wonderful, amazing relationships in your past where Dad was at every game, Mom spent time with you every afternoon, they just loved you to death, all your friends were wonderful and loving and loyal, and you never had a bad relationship with anybody, and nobody took advantage of you or mistreated you or broke your heart, and your character was just like Jesus' character. That's a lot of qualifiers, isn't it? I mean, if that's the kind of life you and your spouse had, then sure, you could both put each other first. It'd be easy to stay in love forever. But we all know that is not usually the case. Instead, we all come into relationships with baggage and flaws. There's stuff inside of us that we try to hide, and in some cases, we don't even know it's there until we hit some bumps in life, and then something happens, the stuff starts spilling out, and he's thinking it's all her fault. She gets on my nerves so bad. If she just stopped doing this, start doing that, I wouldn't react this way. Meanwhile, she's thinking, oh my gosh, if he'd just quit saying this and do more of this and less of this and be more like this, I'd stop reacting this way. And we assume the problem is always the other person's behavior, not the junk in our own hearts, which explains why two people who at one time loved each other more than anything else can end up hating each other so much. Because we have a tendency to blame the ones we love the most for the things that come out of us. But your spouse isn't the reason this stuff spills out of you. It comes out of you because that's what's inside you. And romantic relationships just have a knack, a way of bringing that out of us like nothing else. So what do you do about it? Well, to stay in love forever, we have to learn to pay attention to what's going on inside of us. Solomon put it this way. He said, guard your heart, for all of life flows from it. But if somebody asks you, what is your plan? What's your strategy for guarding your heart? Come on, you wouldn't even know what to say, would you? Neither would I, because you don't have a strategy. You don't think you need one. Nobody ever teaches us to think about this. So unfortunately, we are not very good at guarding our hearts. What we are good at is monitoring our partner's behavior. Now, we are experts at that. We can look at them and say, you need to stop that, you need to start this, and why don't you do this, and why don't you quit or change or get better, stop saying this, start saying that. And the reason we do that is because we want the relationship we have with the one we love the most to make us feel a certain way. But when your spouse's words or their actions don't make you feel the way you want to feel, you start monitoring their behavior and trying to get them to change. But your ability to consistently feel certain emotions, your ability to stay in love, listen, it has as much to do with the condition of your heart as it does the behavior of your spouse. Now, we're really good at monitoring their behavior. We are not so good at guarding and being aware of what's going on in our hearts. But that is often what's really driving our issues. And let me just tell you, there is no amount of commitment that can compensate for or fix that problem. What's in you will come out of you regardless of who is with you. Change spouses, change the names, change the faces. I'm telling you, what's in you will still come out of you regardless of who's with you. This is why it's so important for you and for me to learn to guard, to monitor, to protect our hearts. How do you do that? Well, simply you let God point out and clean up the junk in your heart. So I want to give you a simple way to start. Next time you hit a bump, okay, and you start to feel that emotion inside of you, you know what I'm talking about. I just want you to stop. I want you to think about what you're feeling before you speak, because you need to identify specifically what emotion it is that's welling up inside of you, and you need to name it. Because as long as those emotions are kept secret or you don't pay attention to them, they have incredible power over you because they're driving everything you say and do. But the minute you drag them out into the light, well, they begin, and over time they will continue to lose their power. So would you name it? And then would you ask God to help you change it? That's how you start to clean out your heart. God, I see this in me. I'm not going to blame them for it. I want you to help me change. Staying in love has as much to do with the condition of your heart as it does the behavior of your spouse. And I'm promising you, what's in you is going to come out of you regardless of who's with you. So don't blame your spouse for everything. Look inside. Let God start to change your heart so you can love your spouse the way He loves you.